A big update on WWE's unofficial hiring freeze prior to the Endeavor acquisition and merger with the UFC. Did WWE miss out on big free agents such as Jay White, Nick Aldis, and others because of this hiring freeze? We've got details on that. Plus, what is the morale like now in WWE after Vince McMahon was not present backstage on SmackDown on Friday? Corey Graves defends the finish to Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. Is Veer coming once again, this time in the 2023 WWE draft? A new WWE show appears to be on the horizon. An update on Sabu after he was hospitalized over the weekend, and Dragon Lee is announced for the NXT #1 Contenders Fatal 4-Way match. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about Vince McMahon, the Endeavor acquisition, the subsequent merger between WWE and UFC, and how this may have affected WWE signing talent for the main roster. Now, obviously, this past week, it was revealed that Jay White has signed with All Elite Wrestling. Jay White is now All Elite. He did have possibly interest from WWE. Triple H and William Regal were reportedly interested, and the word was that there was a breakdown in communication from WWE side of things that lots of people have speculated was to do with the acquisition of WWE from Endeavor's point of view. This is kind of par for the course when there are big mergers or acquisitions. There's a freeze on people being hired. Could this be the same when it comes to talent? Well, this is a really fascinating report from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, and he points out we haven't seen any new hires from WWE in 2023 after a very busy 2022. WWE picked up over a dozen talent after Triple H gained control following Vince McMahon's retirement. However, since Vince McMahon forced his way back into the company in December of last year, there have been no main roster hires that have been publicly revealed outside of the ones who were signed in 2022. Several talent that Fightful have spoken with claimed there's a hiring freeze and have speculated everything from Vince McMahon's return to a potential sale being the reasons for this unofficial hiring freeze. Nobody that Fightful have spoken to have explicitly been told that there's a hiring freeze, yet it's a term that has constantly emerged during their conversations. Fightful have reported previously that there was interest in Tama Tonga, Brian Cage, Switchblade Jay White, and the Authors of Pain. However, sources that Fightful spoke with indicated that AOP were already in talks with WWE in 2022 prior to Vince's return. Fightful have been told that Cage has some well-respected supporters pushing for him. Fightful was also told that Triple H was very high on former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, but he was one of many left in the cold when McMahon returned, and all hires were reportedly put on hold. WWE sources indicated that, quote, communication was an issue on their side that kept them from landing Jay White. Of course, this was something we spoke about earlier on in the week, which was ultimately leading to him signing with AEW, in that there was an issue with communication on the side of WWE. Again, that is pretty vague. If we get any more details on what they mean by that, we'll let you know. Now, Fightful have spoken to numerous talent who say they've been contacted by WWE in 2023, although there have been no main roster hires publicly announced or reported. There were multiple talents that were told because of the impending sale/deal, it was hard to make these things happen. There are also talent that were signed in 2022 that haven't even been used as of right now. There have been several on WWE's radar that have simply had no contact from WWE after being shown interest. Fightful have been told that the sudden departure of James Kimball was the reason for a couple of them, but others would have been over his head. So certainly, again, it's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? It's fascinating to wonder what could have been. It's fascinating to know the impact of this acquisition, this merger, and how that would have affected main roster hires. And it's fascinating to know that there could have been several talents that are now signed with other companies, competing companies, that would have been in WWE had it not been for the acquisition of WWE from Endeavor's point of view and the subsequent merger with the UFC. Now, how long this freeze is going to go on for, we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting now, certainly, to see if that things will pick up now that this deal has been announced, but the actual merger of WWE and UFC isn't expected to be complete until later this year, so we could be looking at a situation where in reality no main roster hires are even done throughout the entirety of 2023 or until this deal is done. Of course, if we get any more details on this, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, keeping on with the theme about Vince McMahon, there was a huge question as to whether he was going to be at SmackDown this Friday in Portland, Oregon. He was not, but certainly the morale of WWE in terms of the talent has improved with McMahon not being present. Morale backstage took a major hit at the Raw after WrestleMania 39 when McMahon took over running the show creatively and was making changes right before and even during the show, actually when it was being broadcast live on the USA Network. Essentially, things went back to the way they were before he left, and talent had much preferred how things were being handled without him. The big question was whether the Raw after Mania was just a one-off because he already happened to be in Los Angeles, or if he would be traveling to the show every week like he used to. McMahon, of course, was not backstage at SmackDown, but PW Insider reported that he was in meetings remotely, however, did not make any major changes to the plans. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, the lack of McMahon presence led to morale among talent being, quote, significantly improved. However, there is still something of a we'll see what happens approach being taken by some, so clearly there's still not a conclusive answer on how involved McMahon is going to be going forward. Of course, all eyes now turn to Monday. Is he going to be at Monday's edition of Raw tomorrow? If he is this a sign of what's to come? But even so, even if he's not present at the majority of Raw and SmackDowns, when he is there, are we going to see shows like we saw on the Raw after WrestleMania? Are we going to see that at premium live events as well? Those are the big questions, and certainly there are questions that are still yet to have definitive answers to them. Now, speaking of definitive answers, WrestleMania, the main event of WrestleMania 39 Night 2 was all about Cody Rhodes finishing the story, a story that he did not finish, or was one week removed from the controversial finish to the main event of WrestleMania 39. People are still discussing whether WWE made the right call or not to have Roman Reigns defeat Cody Rhodes. Well, the general consensus online amongst fans is that Cody should have in fact won the match and ended Roman's near 1,000-day title run. The decision has been defended by many voices within WWE, including WWE's Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque at the post-WrestleMania press conference. While Paul Heyman was also chiming recently, stating to BT Sports' Ariel Helwani that the finish to WrestleMania was storytelling at its very best. Also keen to add his 2 cents was Monday Night Raw commentator Corey Graves, who spoke on WWE's After the Bell podcast. It's a WWE show, so you can kind of expect what he's going to say regarding the finish to Reigns versus Rhodes, and paralleled Cody's potential path with that of his father. Graves said, quote, look back to a person that was name dropped multiple times during the lead up to Roman and Cody, that being the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. Dusty became the common man because Dusty constantly came up short, usually due to no fault of his own, but people connected with that, people understand that. People live vicariously through WWE superstars, and there were 1 million people around the world in Cody's boots with him. While Graves would defend the decision, he did empathize with the fans who thought the contrary should have happened, but implored them to keep watching. Quote, whatever you take away from it, that's fine. You're not wrong. If you made a YouTube video cussing and swearing about how you're done, you don't like WWE anymore, good. Good, because you can feel that emotion. Just wait, because it's going to get better. So Corey Graves says, wait and see. I guess the story is not done. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 7 days removed, a week removed from the main event. Did WWE get it right, or do you still feel the same? How do you feel about the outcome of Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Veer is coming again. Maybe. Veer Mahan, of course, that story about him coming to Raw is one of the most infamous stories of the last few years. It's been just over a year since Veer Mahan came, with him arriving on the Raw after WrestleMania 38 in Dallas last year. Veer's arrival came after months of him letting the world know that he would be coming, since he was drafted to Raw to Raw the prior October. Since Veer's arrival, he has since returned to NXT, reuniting his Indus Sher tag team with Sangha and aligning with Jinder Mahal. However, with the 2023 WWE Draft on the horizon, is Veer set to once again be coming? Well, Veer himself took to Twitter yesterday, letting the world know that he is once again coming. He tweeted, I'm coming, see you soon. It is not known where or when Veer will come this time, but Triple H announced that every WWE star will be eligible to be drafted in the upcoming draft, so maybe Veer will once again come to Raw. We must be alert for whenever or wherever Veer decides to come. Is that enough puns for you in that one? Now, a new WWE show could be on the horizon and debuting very soon. It appears as though WWE is planning to launch a new show featuring on the superstars of tomorrow. While NXT and NXT Level Up currently serve as platforms to showcase the rising stars from WWE's Performance Center, we may be about to get another look at WWE's future. On April 5th, WWE filed a trademark for the term WWE Superstars of Tomorrow to be used about a show of professional wrestling. Of course, this is separate from the John Cena new reality show that is coming to Roku. This was announced during the week. Again, this was called WWE Recruits, so this isn't that show unless they've decided to change that name, but there was a big press release about that, so I don't think that's the case, but this is WWE. Anything can and will change, so keep an eye on that, but it looks like we're going to get another show, Superstars of Tomorrow. Now, yesterday, we shared a bit of a concerning story about ECW legend Sabu. Sabu, of course, has earned the respect of many fans for putting his body on the line in his wrestling matches, which also earned him a reputation for being a legendary hardcore wrestler. He was also innovative during his pro wrestling career in the things that he would do inside and outside of the squared circle, such as using chairs to leap onto the top rope, hitting springboards, and all that kind of stuff, barbed wire matches, you name it. Now, Squared Circle Expo recently released a statement on their Facebook page noting that Sabu had been taken to the hospital due to a serious medical emergency. It was unclear what the medical issue is or was. The following statement was issued, quote, "Due to having a serious medical emergency while on the show floor, Sabu will not be appearing for the remainder of the expo. He is currently en route to a local medical facility. All pro photo op for the ECW Pillars Pro Op and Sabu/RVD Pro Op will be refunded cash in hand at the Pro Photo Op at their scheduled times. Our thoughts are with Sabu and all of his ECW colleagues at this time as we await for some hopefully positive news on his status. Thank you for understanding." Now, on Saturday afternoon, Sabu provided this update, tweeting, quote, "Hello everyone, I'm doing better and thank you for your well wishes." So, it would appear that he's on the road to recovery, which is excellent, and obviously we wish him a speedy recovery as he hopefully gets over this medical emergency. Finally, Dragon Lee, we have an update on who's going to be involved in the NXT Championship Fatal 4-Way #1 Contenders match. Ahead of next Tuesday's edition of NXT, WWE had announced that a brand new #1 contender for the NXT champion Carmelo Hayes will be named. To determine who will face Hayes in his first title defense, a 4-way match was announced to be taking place on Tuesday's NXT. And now we know the first of the 4 names who will take part in it. WWE would announce via the NXT Twitter account that the first participant will be none other than their newest high-profile recruit, Dragon Lee. They tweeted, quote, "Breaking, Dragon Lee is the first competitor in the NXT Championship #1 Contenders Fatal 4-Way match taking place this Tuesday." Now, the future title match will feature on NXT's Spring Breaking show, which as of right now does not have a date. It doesn't have a time or anything like that. Also, potentially a name that could be included is the former NXT champion Bron Breakker, who would shockingly turn heel on the post-Stand and Deliver episode of NXT, attacking both Hayes and Trick Williams. While Breakker was rumored to be on the verge of a main roster call-up, his future does seem to lie in NXT for now. He was featured on the poster of NXT's next major premium live event, that being NXT Battleground on the 28th of May, seemingly suggesting that to be the case. So I don't know if Bron Breakker's going to be involved in this one or if Bron Breakker's going to even win this one. One person that is going to be there in Dragon Lee, and one would think that between now and Tuesday, we're going to have 3 more names be announced for the Fatal 4-Way match to determine who's going to be the next challenger or the first challenger, really, I suppose, for Carmelo Hayes' NXT Championship. If it is Dragon Lee, that would be a fantastic match. Can you imagine Carmelo Hayes versus Dragon Lee in a main event for an NXT Championship match? That would be absolutely fantastic for their NXT Spring Breaking episode, wouldn't it? But there you go, guys. It's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button. Have a great Easter Sunday if you're celebrating, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.